Welcome everyone on this Tuesday evening for here in the Netherlands. Hello everyone. Hey Vonne. Hello Alice. Hello Sputniki. Good evening everyone. How nice to see you again on this English live stream. Hello Anja on YouTube. And I should be now live as well on. Okay. All right. On Trovo, I'm also live. Hello, everyone on Trovo. Welcome. And on Rumble. And yeah, multi-streaming, eh? Monique's multi-streaming. Hey, Barry Henderson. Welcome. Welcome, everyone, of course. How are you all doing on this Tuesday evening for the Netherlands? And welcome, dear friends. Roland, hello. No to evil and yes to love. Oh, I couldn't have a better entrance, like that. Great entrance, Roland. I hope you can all hear me because the last time the mic was too soft, so. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Yeah. All right. So nice to see you all. And again, welcome to Rumble, everyone on Rumble and on Trovo. Welcome. And for some of you, it might be even in the early afternoon or early evening. So welcome, everyone. I'm fine, thanks. And you are a sunshine on Twitch? No. Well, that's I have no words for that, Roland. But you see me smile, of course. I totally receive your compliment. So yeah, today, I always start with, of course, no, I want to first make an announcement, which you will already know, but coming Saturday, I have Dana Durnford again as a guest for the third time, and he will talk about his nuclear research and how he is anti-nuclear energy and specifically the industry. And he will talk specifically about Fukushima and why, in his opinion, and because of his research, the the fallout does damage to all species, also humanity and dear Earth. And I'm looking forward to it incredibly. So, and I start from 7:30 then p.m. in Amsterdam time, but there will be a timer countdown, and it is already on my bio.link. So for everyone already on my bio.link, there is the timer countdown also for Saturday. So that is then the practical. And for your questions, well, you know the drill. I almost wanted to say, but that sounds too military. Like, put your questions with a question mark or a Q in the chat, and then I prefer to do that after 45 minutes, so approximately around 8:30. Then I don't have to scroll through the whole chat back and forward. And well, I'm curious if I'm on Rumble as well live and on my YouTube channel, my full English channel as well. If people are watching there, also welcome, of course. I will check also Rumble. Let me see. Mm, I don't see I'm live. Yeah, am I live? I'm live. Ah, great. I'm also live on Rumble. That makes me very happy. Okay, then everything is good to go. And if there are people in the chat in Rumble, then I will also make that visible on my stream, on my screen in the stream. So, well, I told you, yeah, Roland. Yeah, well, I saw your remark and then I was checking. But thank you so much for checking. Hello, Thea, also on Rumble. Thank you so much for checking. All right, I will grab my tea a bit closer to me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that is life of a live streamer. I do everything, the technical stuff here from my living room. So then things happen, which you all know. What a nice, colorful chair. Yeah, it is. That's right. Yeah. It's I won't tell you how comfortable it is. Not. But I will spare you the details. But it is maybe a funny story. But again, let's talk about tonight. What will I do tonight? Tonight, I will talk specifically about how I dealt with all these personalities, a bit to get more in detail how I got through all these personalities, but specifically how did I manage them, even in the front life, and how that went, and so on. But first of all, I like to talk about my deprogramming journey. And my deprogramming journey is again, yeah, full of surprises, like always, and at the same time, not. But I am digesting like many times when I do the live stream, then you hear me talk about, hey, today I just came out of a transformation session with my dear friend here. And I have now again the same. Yeah, we do long walks many times, but yeah, it happens to be right before the live stream. So, and I have to talk about that. And it is, I had to prepare everything within an hour. Well, that seems maybe long, but I had already prepared, of course, the text to put in all my channels. And fortunately, I did already have prepared Prism, my streaming app. But the whole deprogramming is about that I discovered a part in me which I knew she was there, and then I have to start with the military part. Well, I talk already for weeks about how I uncover my military part. Next to the military part, which I heard of, was that I am now digging up the whole military part in me, which, well, I hoped I had dug up the military part, and it felt like that. So, well, you maybe can already a bit feel which direction I will go. But I discovered another, yeah, well, personality, very important personality, and she is connected to the library, dus bibliotheek. And bibliotheek, well, what's a library? Bibliotheek is, by the way, the Dutch word, but it sounds nice in the mouth. Bibliotheek. And I think it's called in French bibliothèque. So it is a nice pronunciation, I believe. But this personality's name is Lisa, and I did show Lisa already in an earlier time with drawings, and I wanted to show you again some drawings tonight. But I was confronted with dealing with this personality to guide her before I would go live, because otherwise I would have just have, yeah, decided to quit the live stream. And I am not even sure of how long I'm capable of doing the live stream, because when I came out of this session with this new personality, Lisa, I got extremely tired, so that I was capable of going live. Then I feel protected and maybe guided by, my spiritual guidance, or it's a combination, I guess, with my own steadfasty character, like continue with the focus, because as you all know, especially last couple of weeks, I am so passionate about that vision of mine, that dream of mine. Let's all join together and say no to evil. And it is coincidentally all at the same time in many countries around the world, all at the same time. And at the same time is not really accurate, I realize, because we have the time zones, but all at the same moment. And that is my mission. That was always my mission and my dream. And it is only a dream of me, individual person. So I am very passionate about exactly no to evil, Roland. And yeah, I'm so passionate and fireish about it. And specifically because I see now the development, of which I talk a lot. I know I talk also a lot about a certain country which start with a C, China. And it's not the Chinese people, but the government I'm talking about. But there I saw in the original plans a lot of these plans being originated. And I am shocked by how fast things are developing again. Like in the Netherlands, we come out of some warm summer days, and it is of course heading for holidays here for many people. But I'm totally not at ease. I feel it's just a trick to ease down everyone, to let everyone a bit recover from these years of, well, you all know what happened with Co and with the VID behind it. So I'm so passionate about it, and I believe that this is what's keep me going to do the live streaming. And the live streaming is also for me the way to, wanting to continue, because that's part of this Lisa. I talked about Lisa maybe half a year ago, that Lisa was always related to me like a sketch, which I did show. Maybe I will in the break look that sketch up and then you see Lisa. And Lisa was or is a kind of detective girl. She resembles the same as in Scooby-Doo, that cartoon series, which I always loved, by the way. And you had there, I believe she was called Selma. And Selma was that one with the black short hair and the glasses on, the darker glasses on. And she was actually the clever one of that team. She was the scientist, the female scientist, and so on. Well, in that way, I do have a lot of, I think I have enough to talk about it tonight, because that was one of my worries when I met her this afternoon in that session. Like, can I even go live streaming? Because I felt suddenly such a tiring wave. And I started this day with, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And there will be a moment that I have no subjects left to talk about, because then I talked about my whole life already. And my life is incredible. I know for a lot of people, even maybe fiction or science fiction. But for me, it was always real, and it is a very reality, and I've been through these flashbacks. Well, this Lisa, if you reverse the name Lisa, then you get ASIL, assilement, dus asiel in Dutch, which means assilement is that you can have shelter in the safe harbor, or have shelter, or what I believe the government should be, a real warm way of having shelter in a right balanced way. So everything goes together for me, that I'm now more fireish and passionate about. I will talk more about this dream and the positive timeline and a negative timeline. And it connects to Lisa, because the counterbalance for Lisa and assignment is of course that you have no shelter, that you're unsafe, that you're captured, and so on. And well, I'm still digesting that this Lisa came to life now again in that long walk, and it was also in the last hour, I believe, hour 3/4 of our walk, right before I started to stream. But I feel very blessed that I unraveled her because she is part of the library. Well, library, what has a library? A library has a lot of books, a lot of very well, books about all kinds of languages, of course. A library has all kinds of knowledge. And I always liked and loved being in libraries, but my reading, my capacity to read, was already for quite a while, it was gone and blocked. I know that I can speak very fluent languages, like I know I can speak Russian. And why is that I know that? Because I recall also even in my Dutch front life that I studied Russian and that I had Russian music score books for my piano. And in the flashbacks, I remembered a couple of times that I spoke Russian. So I know I have somewhere that Russian language in me. And I was also part of, having been part of Black Ops, but also experiments done to me specifically in Russia. And I talked about that already in some of the live streams. But to come back to Lisa, well, Lisa I always saw as an inner image, as I knew she was a personality in me, but I always saw her as a cartoon. The way I sketched her in crayon, in just black and white drawing. And again, I will show you later on the drawing of Lisa. And Lisa likes to talk in riddles, and she is my intelligence, but also the one who has recorded and read all the files and documents. And in my military part, I talk already in the live streams about what I've seen. For example, in the Vatican, there is so much opening about what I saw in the Vatican, but also that I see symbols. And I still cannot figure out what these symbols are. So I could, of course, do now a live stream and then had a drawing board behind me and then start doing these equations and so on and formulas. But I have no clue what kind of formulas that would be. So maybe I would even sketch a formula. Yeah, if I don't know what I'm sketching or what I'm writing, then I'm not going to show that because I have no clue what then would happen and what secrets I would reveal, or it would be only maybe a bit of scrambled words and numbers and symbols. But I do see with my inner eye all these symbols come by. Well, Lisa, she is the source of my knowledge and my intelligence. And it's not that, well, I hope I show a bit of intelligence in the live stream. Oh my God, what am I saying now? But, I need certain intelligence, of course, to do my life, but you know what I mean. But I talk about the intelligence of knowing computer language, computer programming. I know that I can speak languages, as I said already, and I have read, and I was forced to read as well, also in the Super Soldier programming and with the Black Ops, a lot of material and documents which were for my eyes only, for your eyes only. That was a title, I believe, of a James Bond movie. But I've seen a lot with my eyes, and I believe this is also the reason why in the deprogramming my eyesight got bad. Maybe I'm still figuring out how that went with my eyes, but maybe I just had to record and to see too many things in all the programming parts and programming personalities. And I see for the last word from Sputnik is synchronisatie, synchronization. Roland, no to evil, yes to Mother Nature. Yeah, yeah, indeed. And how you feel now? Well, I think I explained that. That when I started the live stream, I felt very emotional, and I had the feeling like I'm going to burst out in tears. That's how I felt. And then I started to play the music and the streaming, opening the streaming things, and then I felt like, okay, let's roll. And now I'm not so emotional as I thought to be. So, but I really thought that I would start by crying, and that's not the case. But next to this Lisa personality, by the way, it's as well as that I feel being confronted with, yeah, that I still have a large part to uncover in my whole personality systems. So I noticed that I start to feel again, I'm incredibly tired because, as many of you know, I started the deprogramming consciously from 2010. And I started the whole journey of unwrapping my sexual abuse life in the front life as a Dutch woman. I only thought that I was Dutch. By the way, already in 2000, when I started to recover some memories of the sexual abuse in my front life, in my Dutch life, I had already thoughts in English. But I was never really worried about that, or that I was curious about it, not even. For me, it was always very normal to just, yeah, to just hear everything inside in English, and my thoughts were in English, my dreams were in English. I'm still dreaming in English, by the way, in English language. Well, what does that say? I'm not sure. I'm curious if others have that as well. That you're, for example, from a certain country, what you know of that you were born in, and that you dream or think in another language. Well, I remember now Saturday there was a question about what are the alarm signs for that you could be MK Ultra or mind controlled. Add this one to it as well. So if your thoughts and dreams are in another language than what you live, then something I would say, investigate it. It's not that I say that if you have that you're then mind controlled. No, it's about investigate, and that there's something curious going on, and something special. Well, with being confronted with that, this Lisa, apparently, the way I deprogramming is that I am as ego, I call myself Monique, although I'm again also a bit finding out how I really want to be called. But I told about that also in earlier live streams, and I will maybe catch up about that reason behind it also later on in this English spoken live stream. But for specifically that I'm dealing with that, I thought I was, I crossed the end threshold. I thought I crossed my whole personality, and now I found out, and I get a bit emotional, that there is a large part still not unraveled. Yeah, and that makes me tired. And you all know that I love to live life and enjoy life. Next to that, I'm passionate about this mission and this vision. Like, let's say, all no to evil and stand up. It's only just my vision, my dream. I could be wrong. It's just my dream. It's just me, individual me, who says that. I have to say that, dear people. I will not explain again why, but the people who are here in the live stream, but for sure in the Netherlands, know that the Netherlands is not such a safe place as always maybe is being thought of for you people abroad. It is so, the world is so being tightened. The net is being tightened to have free speech and to say what you want. So I'm careful in that. And Roland, it has never been a safe place. No, it hasn't. But it it had a certain percentage of that you still could say everything. And it is, especially since the VID, it has changed more. It's more coming to the surface. It has come more to that visible and so on. But I truly have experienced myself that I felt safer before the VID. I did feel a bit safer in expressing things. And I'm not, I am an MK Ultra, former MK Ultra, so I know that for me it's even more, I have to be more careful in what I say. But yeah, it is the way, yeah, it is the way it is, what I say often. But yeah, so I'm a bit emotional, but I will keep that a bit to the background and then try to keep on talking about it, because I am passionate about the vision. And then I also have tears in my eyes because I feel we should stand up. I stand up, say no to evil, because it is such 12 for me. And why is that? And then I will continue about Lisa, because it's connected to it. I am going, I saw coming by synchronicity from, I believe it was Rita what came by. And for me, it's synchronicity, like what every step in the world, what is come closer to trying to get the power of humanity, so that the humanity is no longer having grip on their own, who they are as being, as who we are, with freedom of speech, with freedom of the right to live and to speak out what we think of even governments and organizations. It's a basic right. It's not even a right for me. No, it is, I have that, yeah, I can speak, so I do that. But I will in a while connect it again to Lisa, but I wanted to say that everything goes in synchronicity, and that gives me hope. Every time when I unraveled a new personality system in me, then again there was a certain move in the world. And I feel that after summer, specifically in the Netherlands and Europe, there is something going on. There is something fishy going on. And I want to speak out, not to warn, because I learned my lesson in warning. No, I only want to express what I had to deal with, and that might maybe, like a ripple effect, cross the world, maybe not even by voice, but only in the energetic field. And I know, and maybe by expressing that I know, and I've seen it in that vision. And I will talk later again about positive and the negative timeline, and that it is 12. And I mean with that not to fearmonger, but a reality, that the reality kicks in. Like it's not only for example in China now going on. Now I've seen in the plans that they want to continue to keep the countries, especially in Europe, to be traumatized and in the survival, and then that they can create that same system as the CCP does. And I am now no longer shutting my mouth about it. And it is just my vision. It's just my dream, me as individual person. And if I repeat that, then I hope I am also safeguarding myself also for the toss. But it is so, for me, so urgent what is now going on. And another thing what I saw is, well, I am now again in that, of course, that passion for freedom, and that we come together as people, as humanity, together with all our small differences and religions, which I believe all kinds of religions are beautiful. I truly feel that even when someone has no religion, if that people is righteous and fair and wants to live an honest life, it is just beautiful to be diverse, and we can learn, and then we can learn from each other. That's my opinion. Then only we can learn from each other, not from uniformity. But yeah, that's just my passion. And what has that got to do with Lisa? Like, Lisa is a giant part. I'm sad about that. I figure out that my military part is far bigger than the military I dug up. But it is that Lisa has all the knowledge and that she can show me the way in maybe even more remembering in what I've seen in these military plans. And that's what I meant with synchronicity. Every time when I open up another personality system in me, then there's something is going on in the world, and a certain move or a certain phase. Well, what triggered me as well was, for example, the that I investigate a lot about the world, but specifically I am now focused on keeping updated about what's going on in China. And that's, of course, a huge country. Russia as well, and Africa as well. And by the way, Africa is also a huge thing what the deep state wants to grab. So Africa is high on their agenda also to take in. But I am now focused on China because I've seen that there are now floods happening. So these people have already a lot to deal with like a lot of people worldwide, also in the Netherlands. I mean, everyone has something to deal with more and more because that darkness wants to be like a blanket to be put over our heads, and that we get into survival mode. And that's, we can stop it by saying no to evil, join together as one, but uniquely as one, if you know what I mean, or join one in our uniqueness. United in uniqueness. But I've seen what I saw in the plans, and I did talk about it, that I saw orange skies and dead trees. And then I have tears in my eyes because I saw in China that with these floods, there were giant swirls, there were giant volcanoes, and as well that the sky was orange, of the dust of course there. But it was orange, and that was part of these flashes I've seen in that negative timeline. And I was so triggered by it that I felt like, it is so important to do my story and to keep talking about what I've seen also in that negative timeline. And my heart goes out to every country who has to deal with war, with abuse, with invisible abuse, like the trafficking of children and babies. My heart goes out with the whole world. And this is really the truth. I have this already from since I was a child. And this is the reason why my programmers punished me even more. Because I every time showed that I loved them as well. And that I told them, I showed them my radiance. And I was, for example, 6 years old, and my programmers tried to beat me and to rape me. And then I asked them and I showed them my light. And I told them, like, why are you doing this? You are yourselves that incredible conditional love and light. And here it is. I share it with you, and that's it. You don't have to do all that evil stuff. And then they got to punish me even more. But my whole life in the programmed world, they talked about me, they punished me for it, that I wanted to voice this, what I'm doing now for more than a year now. And that is for me really the truth. And it's not that I have to prove myself in that, but I feel, so committed to every country, every being, every soul, every child, every animal, every tree, the whole earth. And that is why I talk about my mission. And when I say that, then I get also the passion, and I feel that I'm connected to, and that I get energy to do this talk. As well as that I feel, as I said already, I feel very sad because I am not whole as I thought. My core is retrieved, but I'm sure not whole with my personality system. So Yeah, and so I'm very grateful that I do this talk and that you are all here, because in the Netherlands, by the way, we are entering almost the summer holiday season, and then yeah, less people are maybe joining in the live streams. But I already decided that before I did this live stream, but I will continue twice a week at least. And when I have energy again, then I will go live in the early morning or in the night. And my passion, my mission is say no to evil. And if I have to do hours of live streaming for that, I don't care, because it gives me energy. And I say that also for my inner Lisa, because my inner Lisa was it's like in a movie, I have to think about this video clip. It was already from the 90s, but that there was a video clip of a group called AHA, AHA, and that they had a number like Take On Me, and I loved that song. For me, it was also connected to a dear man I met and who helped me deprogramming, and I do that also for him, because he is not here to really talk about it. I cannot say too much about these private circumstances concerning love, etc. And that's also too private for me. But I do that also for the friends and the dear ones I lost because of this mind control and this MK Ultra and this Monarch programming. And this Lisa is very important because she has all that knowledge, and I hope then also with coming live streams to talk about what she reveals and what I remember. And why am I talking about this negative timeline? Because as many of you know, I talked in earlier live streams about how I know that the negative timeline has crashed against the positive timeline, like two train tracks and trains crush each other, and then two trains ride along each other, and so that the positive timeline now has crossed this negative timeline. Why do I then still talk about this negative timeline? Because it's not about avoiding the negativity and the shadow part. No, that's my opinion. It is about embracing the shadow, embracing that there is negativity. But you do have to feed your positivity. I do that, for example, with this is why I have flowers as best as I can when I go live. I like colors. I like taking care of myself. I'm in my own residence, but I always take care of myself, that I look for myself nice, and that I feel proud of myself. And those things are important, like family life. I will never say you have to go away from that. No, but it goes together. If you know both, then you can cross, then you can, like a helicopter view, surmount that, and you can really ascend from that, and then still view and live both. But then you can choose, okay, I see positive, I see negative, it's both there. And then you can decide, okay, I will live the positivity, but I know it's there, the negativity. And that is how I see it, and how I got to learn to live and to deprogram. And this is the way also, I believe, to come together as people, as humanity. Like for me, why do I say China? Of course I mentioned China because I've seen the plans that the origin comes from China and it will go towards the West. Well, what did happen with Co? It did go from East to West. But to me, it still did not end. And it ends when we all say no. It's just my dream. It's not reality. It's a dream. It's a dream. It's a musical. It's a dream. Yeah, I have to laugh. But hello, Delvertje. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting that I hear now very weird frequencies through my left ear. So I think there's disturbance, but I don't care. I feel protected. Very interesting from the left, but and it's not in my. It's not. I mean, it's not in my mind. I truly felt it, like going in through my inner left ear. So and that does exist. That yeah, radiation. What kind of radiation? I don't know. Lisa, my inner Lisa, for sure will know exactly the type of radiation, but it can be sent to former MK Ultras also as a kind of trying to disturb me, and I will not, I will not allow that. I will keep talking. So, and I will not let myself be confused. Hello, Tineke Jessie, welcome. And I saw a question come by. Hello, Ki, Kita. Kita, how do I pronounce it? I hope I pronounce it well enough. What is your opinion on the Neuralink progression from Elon? I heard it got approved in some countries for testing on humans. Yeah, Neuralink, it's all there. It's all there already. And I've seen in the Black Army, in the Black Secret Army, underground army. I've seen so much. I've seen so much from that specific thing. So it's not new for me. But in my opinion, they are far ahead in that. Like I was connected to that AI organism, and that is far ahead of that. And that is, yeah. There are sleepy armies, and I know it sounds like a great science fiction novel, but I've seen science fiction of science fiction. I've seen these armies, sleeping armies, and they're waiting to be woken up, to come to the surface of Earth. And this is why I do my story, in the hopes that it will, that people by listening to my story and maybe want to hear it. I only ask to just simply listen, just to hear to my story, to listen, and then realize, hey, it might be possible that there is more than is being shown in the world. So and for me, I have also opinion about this man, and yeah, maybe you can see it, but I'm alerted. I'm alerted. And why is that? Because the connection goes to, again, that land with the sea, so the CCP, so China. Many of the world leaders are connected to China. And as I said it already in a lot of live streams, but I have seen already in the 90s, in the years of 90s, I've seen myself in person, not with remote viewing. I was there with my military black ops. I've seen in Florida, the East Coast, and in the West Coast of California, I've seen Chinese people entering illegally USA to join the forces, and they were military, and that was already in the 90s. Huh? Why is that? Why is that? I've seen it, so it is. In my opinion, it's a theater play, and I say that with the utmost seriousness, and not a nice theater play. I hate it, and I get more and more irritated about it. That I also chose to more speak out my fury about it, and it's my opinion. That's just my dream. It's just me, you know. It's no, I should not say just, because then I make myself smaller. But it is a dream. But I hope I did answer your question, Delftje. Nice background and nice shirt or dress. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it too. It's, you know, I can fly. I love colors. And I wore a lot of army green when I started the live streams, and it was pure to trigger as well, and to help my military part. And I will always love the army green as well. So, but I choose to have more colors. So that's nice. But thank you so much. It's nice to have also something else than only about MK Ultra. Delftje, take a sip, Monique. Yeah. Cheers. Roland, their plan is public. Oh, of whom? Yeah, their plan is public. Yeah, it is. Well, where are the people? Where are all the individual people who say no? Where are they? It's an idea for a stage play. Yeah, it's not. I don't call up for anything. It's just a stage play idea. What are we gonna do? Cooperate? Yeah. Well, for example, yeah, yeah. Coincidentally, coincidentally, as individuals, but saying no. I mean, I don't. I'm not even talking about taking action physically, and I will never and never, never call out for violence or call out for something, you know. But it is about saying no to evil. And if people really start to feel it from the heart and the feelings that it is powerful to say no, yeah, that's my passion, that's my mission, and to say that it is existing. So this timeline of which the people say no, I've seen it. I've seen it in one of these timelines. I've seen it happen, and so we can do this. And I hope that it is as well. Yeah, also give a bit of also hope that that it's not only doom and gloom, because that is not what I mean. Not at all. I mean only for the good and for the change of the world. But it is more like I do feel like it is weird that it is has gone on, going on and on and on and on and on. And when is the border reached? For me, the borders is already years ago. Years ago, I reached that border already years ago, before I went live. But yeah, I'm ranting again. I should not do that. I'm ranting lately. The solution is simple. Put your smartphone in the dustbin. Um, it is part of the solution, yeah. Is it the solution? I think I truly feel it's also connected to, that's what I wanted to say about China, that it's a country far away. But to me, it isn't. And that is what I mean. Like, if we all start to feel that we're part of the same as humanity, that we're all not, I'm not saying we're all one. No, we're unique, but we are part of, yeah, how can I say that? We have the, yeah, how can I say that? Like reaction and action. You have action and reaction. And even if it's another country far away, I feel that, and I have the feeling that the deep state more and more wants the people to be so in survival and non-feeling that we only have to think in that survival, about surviving and have enough money for the family to feed our children, and so on and so on. And this is why all these countries are not all at the same time, but being confused, being at war. And that's what I mean with that theater game. It's a game to play out. And then more and more it heads towards Europe, because Europe is an important part of the world to keep it for the deep state to that Europe is being captured in that system of that nettle of having no freedom any longer and being hooked to AI and so on. Yeah, it is. Billy is now in China. Okay, I will later on scroll. You hang for a while for 1 minute. I hang for a while. I don't know what you mean. But all right. So and in between again, thank you so much for everyone who is watching on Rumble and on Trovo and on YouTube. And I forgot to check if I am live on YouTube too. That is my only English YouTube channel. But it is not always doing what I wanted to do. And I'm now checking if I'm live there. But I already heard you all. I am live everywhere. But am I also live there? That's for me now to check. I don't see myself live. No. Well, let me see. No, I don't think so. Well, all right, then I have to accept that. So, to come back to Lisa. Well, Lisa, she was also based on the Mona Lisa painting of the famous Michelangelo, I believe. Michelangelo, I'm always confused with Michelangelo because I had a famous piano master, a very famous piano player, and he was Michelangelo. So I mean Michelangelo. And that famous painting. And with that painting, there is also something interesting. You know that they, maybe it's already years ago, that they tried to find out with Röntgen, with x-rays, what is behind the painting and what is in it. Did I ever share that one of the secrets of the Mona Lisa is why people are so attracted to her? It is, I have seen that there is, and maybe I am then being put on again, oh, there she goes with the science fiction stories. But there I saw the evilness. So there is behind it put in an evilness. So a demon, it's a demonized painting. And maybe I make people a lot in shock now. But that is the story behind it, and this is why it's so being safeguarded, because it was a high. It was once another. What I knew was another archangel of God, of the Creator, and that this fallen angel was then captured and as well being put in a painting. And here I go again with like what you read in fantasies and a lot of in science fiction stories. Maybe it's good to then ask yourself, like, why is it in the world? If it's in the world, then it's part of a reality. So, but I love to share that. I was searching for a moment that I could share this, and this is why many MK Ultras have a Mona Lisa personality in their systems. And I came across already years in the beginning of my deprogramming the Mona Lisa. And what is Mona? For specifically for the people in the Netherlands, there was a dessert which was called Mona dessert, and there was a whole that was years going on, so that it was advertisements with about Mona and Mona toetje. That's what I know. It sounds weird for people abroad, but maybe some people know that. I'm a 50-pluser, so I think maybe the people of the Netherlands from that age might know that still. Doet Mona toetje. Well, I was, as you know, in my front life, when I was younger, I was horrifically being ridiculed and so on. And they called me also Mona toetje. And why is that? Now you understand maybe why I changed a couple of times my name Monique, and why I changed it officially in Tara. This was because I was then, when I was present in a classroom, and then people were looking at me, and then they were just in the classroom, huh? And the teacher was present, and then they were calling me out for Mona toetje, or doe eens een Mona toetje, because my name was Monique. So yeah, that's another thing what I wanted to share. So, and I even believe there is a Mona, but that is with a R. So, and that has also been used in my programming, but that was not so deep in the system, and that came from a snack brand. Do you remember that in the Netherlands? I'm not sure if people from abroad know that, but that was a Mora. So I had a Mona and a Mora. Yeah, I'm laughing at it, but it was awful. And I had when I did the high school and so on, in my front life, I recall actually only one teacher, and that was an English teacher who really was nice. And I must say, my drawing teacher, and they only were really nice to me, and the others, well, I did not have any connection to them, and so on. And I believe some of them were even in it because of my whole setup around me as programmed and important for because I was with the elite, like the presidents and the monarchies worldwide. So yeah, then you can imagine that, and also an important thing, which is part of it, that being an MK Ultra, former MK Ultra, like what programs invest in former MK Ultra like me. That is also why they never want to give up mind controlled ones, because they invested a lot of money and sources. So maybe that's also an important thing to mention. Roland, I have worked there. Oh, that's funny. Well, funny. And was it Mora or Mona, Roland? One of the two. Tineke Jesse, the evils love mind control. Yeah, it's an addiction. I talked about that a lot of times. It is an addiction, and specifically the sexuality and the arousement, and not only arousement with sexuality, but as well with being tortured and seeing torture that creates another aura field around the victim, and then they can absorb that aura, or and there can enter in the aura fields also demonized beings and demons. This is the basic fundament of why they love this sexual abuse and tortures. And of course, it feeds their master, which is in this case the S energy and the L energy, but as well as the P energy with Pindar. You can look him up. I even saw that name, by the way, on Wiki, and I felt like, on Wiki? Wow, I was surprised. I saw it on Wiki, but I'm not sure if it's still on Wiki. But yeah, that's one of the most aggressive. Well, you can call it reptilian-like beings, about reptoids. It is one of the most evil ones, and he has power in the firmament, but he has still not all the power, because there are a lot of benevolent beings who try to withhold him from opening more portals and giant energy columns on Earth. And I do can say there is one of which Deep State knows, because that's why I can mention that is on Iceland. Iceland has an important role for the Earth. Maybe this is why it is a small island, and that there are a lot of mosquitoes, because a lot of people don't go there, because it's very, of course, small, it's cold, the climate is not so ideal, because there are a lot of mosquitoes. It's not fun to be there, and as, specifically in a certain season, then you're bitten by all kinds of mosquitoes. It's if you, maybe some of you have been there, but it is, by the way, it is a beautiful country as well, but you have to like this kind of type of landscape. But Iceland is one of these pure energy columns, which are still not being grabbed by the deep state and by the S and the L worshippers. Delvertje, when you mentioned Wiki, my dog suddenly looked up. I wonder why. Really? Oh, that's funny. I can visualize it. Roland Mona. Ah, right. Well, they had nice desserts. They had nice desserts, and but I'm not sure if I even ate them. Maybe it was my own inner programming which prevented it from that I would eat it. But yeah, Sputniki, coffee time for me. Is it coffee time? Oh, right. Well, in a 15 minutes, I will also head for a break with you all. If you like a break, but I will for sure take a break to get some more tea, and I feel my an itchy throat. That's also interesting. So I share, of course, a lot. Delvetje says team time for me. Well, cheers. Me too. Ka-ching. Then I go back to Lisa. Well, Lisa, to make a short summary, Lisa, and I will look up the drawing in a bit in the break. And when I looked it up, then the break is already gone and I did not have taken my tea. But I will guard myself in that I will pour in my tea and I will take a break and I will search for that drawing. I promise. And so Lisa. Lisa was the one, by the way, who also wrote in my teenage diary, which I had. I have 4 pages left, and I wrote in English, in crayon, and I have them on my timeline on Facebook. I have it also on Lickabout. Lickabout is, by the way, great independent where you have freedom of speech. But on my social media, I have put that diary fragments and with the translation in English and in Dutch. And that was Lisa as well, because Lisa did write in my teenage time, also in the front life, when she came through my other personality systems. Because when I was in my front life, that doesn't mean that I was all the time Monique. No, there were some leakages in my personality system that, for example, Lisa was capable of coming through maybe a few minutes. And that she wrote down in the diary about, I will one day talk about this, and so on and so on. And Lisa was very strongly, is a very strong character. So I'm curious how she will feel in me when she's integrated, because that's also what I wanted to talk about. When I integrate a personality, what happens is that I feel then that personality, how she feels, how she behaves, how she walks. Some personalities can feel very grand, very solid, very strong, and others can feel like victimized or small or even smaller of age. And this Lisa felt so proud of herself, but also distant to me, because she decided also to not show herself, not even in the deprogramming. So she mentioned in the session this afternoon that she did know me, but that she refused to be in my life because she felt like, there is still a part in the system of the military which has to open up. And there was a mental block in writing, but for sure in reading, so reading books. And I noticed that I have some books and that I cannot get any further with these books because I'm blocked. Then I read a chapter and then I have to start all over again. So then I even don't remember what I read, That's how it goes. That's the way it goes with me in my life. And I'm very sad about that, because I believe, and for me, it feels like that reading is such was always a beloved thing to do. Also in my front life, by the way. I read a lot in English, in German, and in Dutch. And I prefer English reading over Dutch reading. So I love reading books. But Lisa felt like, I'm not going to show up. Well, after that talk with my dear friend, and I was preparing for my live stream, then I was figuring out, how will I feel when I do the live stream? And it's hard to explain. And maybe one day you will feel or see a change in the character, in me as a person. And that is still my wish, of course, that I can be whole and that I will be a whole personality. But it makes me a bit sad because I'm so longing to go to live life as well, to do presentations on stage, do transformation work, inner transformation work, but specifically to live next to, of course, my passion for this mission and dream of say no to evil. And it makes me, of course, very sad, because that means that I'm still, in this residence, still transforming. Not like the Transformers, that cartoon series. No, inner transformation and sitting here in my residence, basically alone. And and today I felt alone, but that I know that is part of when a personality comes forward, because a personality always had acted alone, so then always felt alone. So I am then a bit also reliving the feeling alone. And not many people really understand being a separate personality. So, but yeah, and yeah, that is, yeah, that makes me sad. But I will, of course, not hear. Yeah, I will not listen to that feeling and let myself feed with that and fill up with only feeling sad and lonely. I'm strong enough to deal with that, but yeah, it is part of deprogramming, and this is why so many MK ultras and people who know they are mind controlled want to give up and just rather live also part of their life, which I understand. I had a couple of times, by the way, in my deprogramming, I had the choice to give up and leave and live my life at that moment where I was. And that was at a point of, that felt like a point of no return. That was in the beginning, yeah, maybe 2002 to 2003. In that year, that I had the choice to continue and maybe had a pretty okay life. But yeah, what is a pretty okay life when the majority of a personality is not there? Yeah, I'm not sure if I would have lived then a satisfied life, but I will never know. But I know that I want to go for, yeah, what I said with this mission, but I want to be whole. That is my deepest longing. I want to be whole and live in a world where everyone is free, every child, every man, woman, everyone, just everyone, also benevolent beings, can then come to the surface, and that we can teach each other to be good, even more good than we are than we are already, and learn from each other and enjoy cultures, religions. That's I will not rest until that's there as well. But yeah, Delveltje, I heard about writer's block, but never reader's block. Yeah, and I'm very sad about it, and because also I lost more and more of my eyesight. I have -11, -12 percentage for far ahead reading, so not from a close. So then you know how bad my vision is. But I feel blessed because I have my lenses, so that's great. But I was confronted with reading as well, specifically when personalities came forward who knew me in my younger state. That is a pretty confrontation, by the way. That's also an interesting subject. When personalities wake up in the here and now, because I have a 50 plus body, and that they, for example, are 16 or 17 years old as teenagers, that they stopped living in me and that they separated from me, and then the majority of them are totally irritated and frustrated that they wake up in an older body. Can you imagine that? Yeah, maybe not, because it is, I guess only real MK Ultras know how it feels like. But those things I have to deal with. And in a lot of years of my inner transformation, I even had to feel like certain clothings even did not match any longer with how I felt. And my dear friend here, she even took care of that. She, for example, when for me the color red was important to wear, then she bought me some red t-shirts, just simple things from the market, but she bought me then all the stuff that I could wear red, and that triggered the red coding in me. And because I had a red and a blue coding, and I had a red and a blue button, and this red and blue button were appear to be the entrances to the deeper systems of which I am now in, like the military system and so on. So, Tineke Jessie, you don't look 50 plus. Well, thank you so much for the compliment, Tineke Jessie. I think the lighting also helps. And I don't use any filters. I do not. And maybe I always had to think about that because I had so many personality systems. That's what I think, and my dear friend as well. That because I stopped aging with a lot of personality parts in me, that also my body stopped aging for on a big. Well, that's our how we view it, but yeah, the camera is very in advantage to me, I have to say. If you see me in real life, then I truly look like I'm 50 plus, but thanks to my 1080p camera, apparently I see it too, that I look younger, but yeah, and I'm proud of being 50 plus, so I'm proud of who I am. But I'm longing to be whole, whole. But yeah, I had that red period, and that gave a lot of power because red, the colors, color coding, but colors are used for programming, but you can also use colors for, of course, deprogramming and to feed yourself. Like red is extremely feeding your feet and to be on earth and grounded. So I do use colors as well for deprogramming and to heal myself. And I love yellow. I did see it come by, like Roland loves the color yellow, me too. And specifically the warm yellow. And I love the violet color. Well, you see that in the background. And I love a lot of lights. And that's what you see with the carnival lights in my background. We're heading for a break, dear people. Delvertje, I think that sometimes in the morning, when I look in the morning, what an old face. Oh, Delvertje. Yeah, why, wow, whoa, whoa, I don't know what to say. But it sounds, there is also humor in it, but, and they say you're as old as you feel yourself. And by the way, when I have my birthday, that's why I like the birthday and not the verjaardag. In the Dutch you say verjaardag. And what does that mean? Verjaren, that's growing older, I believe. What is a nice translation for verjaren? Yeah, becoming older or verjaren. Literally, it's translated in, yeah, another year is gone. And I don't think about what age I am in the physical. Besides that, what is a year? It's being invented by a certain Gregorian calendar, I believe. And even then, the year is not accurate because there's a certain king in, I believe it was Ireland or Scotland, he to celebrate the people, the certain celebration of his country. And then he added some years to it, so our year count is not even accurate. And what is accurate? I mean, and I still want to look that up. By the way, I still want to show you the proof that that did happen. And I'm not sure if it's because of the altering of the timelines, of that it's being washed out in the YouTube and all the Google and on the internet. But if someone knows about that I know for sure there was a king who changed the year with a couple of years, because that sounded nice as a gift to the people to celebrate their anniversary of the country. But I will look it up. I will look it up. Delvertje, I stopped dyeing my hair. I have gray strands now. I do not look as old as my years, except when I am straight out of bed. Ah, yeah, I understand. And some people look so nice in gray. I'm not. I have salt and pepper gray, so I don't like it. But yeah, I started to get already gray hairs I was pretty young, in my 40s. And now I know why. That was because of all the trauma and tortures, because stress does change your hair. So, but I will go for a break. what did I say 20 minutes ago? I will really take a break, will really pour in my tea, and I will look for the drawing of Lisa. So here we go for the break. I will not look at the chat. And I will go for a break. Let's see, it's now, I will start around 9 o'clock. I will continue. And I will try music, but yeah, I have to all the time do again. Say to Facebook, I use your music, and in this way maybe I can prevent being copyrighted by. Dear Facebook, I use the copyright-free music from your own creator studio page. And I love it that it's there. I love that feature. So here I go with some music. And I will grab some tea. And stick with me, don't go away. Stick with me, come back, or do your break, or do your little thing. Or not, of course, but stay with me. I'm continuing. All right. I will grab some tea. See you in a bit. Oh, you do not hear music? You don't hear the music? I will see it in the chat. Anyone else who doesn't hear the music? Only now? Only now, or it was already playing? Well, the drawing. Oh boy, now I lost the copyright-free music, the map, the documents. Okay. And here is I did find a drawing around the same age of Lisa when I was a teenager. Here it comes. And it's not a graphic one, by the way. So that you know that this is just... so it is expressing, and Lisa came sometimes forward, and she also sketched a lot together with Comic Girl, which was a sketcher in me. I will talk about it, but here's the sketch. I will look for the other one. And I cannot find Lisa, so that's also interesting. I love this one. Oops. I cannot sit still with music. I love this one. I will explain in a bit the drawings, by the way. I will explain in a bit. Still looking for Lisa. All right. I think I have to let go. That tonight is not the time that I can show her, but I have a giant map open now. What time is it? It is 9. I hope to see it, but maybe it's the energy that it's not showing. I will explain, by the way, the drawings. Mm, yeah. Yeah, Yvonne, I saw it. Time flies. Tineke Jessie, time flies. It's it. I borrowed your line, but it is time flies. It really flies. Yeah. Ah, I have it. Yeah. I first have to check it if it's the right one. I did find Lisa. Yeah. Okay. So here is Lisa. Oh, by the way, Lisa is also a character in The Simpsons, eh? No coincidence. For me, it's no coincidence. This is Lisa. I will start with that and then I will answer your questions in the previous drawings. Oh, I have to go this way. I will sit a bit this way. No. So this is Lisa. And there is a part in Dutch and there is a part in English. And that she is, should I make it bigger? I will do that. So, am I a girl or a boy? Well, I talked about that I had the programmers did try to create male personalities in me, but they did not succeed. Somehow, not with all MK Ultras, it works to create, for example, with females, a male character, or with males, a female character. This is Lisa. I apologize. I did not put it through to the right side. This is Lisa, and she says, "Am I a boy or a girl?" Well, in my when I was a teenager, I had hair like that, so to my shoulders, a bit cut to my shoulders, and I had glasses. I wore glasses at that time, and so and she says, "Am I a boy or a girl?" Likes to riddle and keep you puzzled, like the secret smile of Michelangelo's Mona Lisa, the painting. And she also likes riddles and detectives and so on. Yeah, I think you see now the right picture. Thank you for the feedback, Yvonne. And now you did see it, huh? So this is Lisa, and this is how I saw her innerly. And that is from today what I uncovered. And then to come back to this picture, this drawing. This drawing, I saw something come by. Hello, Alice. Okay, I thought I saw a question. Oh yeah, why does the man not look at the woman? You. Well, this man was a count, or count, a duke. I had to call him duke, and this duke was evil. So I was, yeah, his escort. So this, I sketched myself with a wig, and the drama. I was very dramatic as a teenager in my front life, and I sketched a lot, and I sketched to also survive what I carried within. And you see also her hand, like, don't touch me. So it was to dramatically show, like, get away from me. And this Duke was, and I think I tried to show that as well, that his eyes went black at times. That does exist. What you see in the movies does exist. Eye colors can change, and I've seen that haunted eyes. I've seen also eyes change in splits, in these vertical splits. And I believe, and I see it happen more lately, by the way, when I see someone, even on YouTube or a certain organization leader, and the majority of them I recognize, of course, from my own past in the MK Ultra. But yeah, he was very evil, very evil, and his eyes sometimes changed black. His hand is on the chest. It is a hand which you see the thumb down, so it's my hand which pushes him away. But you can maybe see it on his chest. But yeah, this is teenage drawing, so I was, of course, not in my most skilled drawing techniques. But and that other one, where is it? That's that one. And then this one is precious to me because I sketched myself during the deprogramming the way I saw myself. And maybe you can see also in the way I look at like how I am, how I was, and flabbergasted about what I transformed, but as well. Yeah, so this was a personality. So how can I explain that? So I took a mirror. Actually, the mirror was my iPad or my laptop. I don't remember any longer if I had my iPad or my laptop. And then I sketched myself. So I wore that scarf and so on. And it was a self-portrait. And very dear to me also. So that personality sketched herself. Did I? Oh, you did not see that again. Oh, I apologize. It's this one. Sorry. It's this one. So this was a self-portrait of the personality. Now you see her, huh? And in these text balloons, she's also writing about what she comes across when she sees herself sketching herself. And by the way, I was not gone with my awareness. I was with my ego present. But I let her have the space to sketch how she saw herself. And that is also a way to deprogram, by the way. So that's maybe a handy tip for anyone who's traumatized. Go sketch. Sketch drawing, writing is a lot of help to deprogram and to help get rid of at least the relivings of trauma. Delvertje, the expression of your drawings is stunning. Wow, thank you so much. I try to show how I felt in a lot of drawings. And on my Telegram, I feel a bit guilty that I put a bit a hold to all the messages on my Telegram, but I was not aware of when I opened Telegram that it was also on my phone, and I really want to have that divided. Maybe you can understand that, and at the same time, I am really want to honor this Telegram group. So I will post in coming days a drawing which I cannot sketch or cannot show here because it's too graphic. And then I will add that drawing. But that I for sure after the summer I will more post on the Telegram group as well and do something. And I have an idea with that group as well. But yeah, I'm still figuring out a lot. And now with this whole deprogramming again, this new personality, so I have my hands full. So I hope you understand, and I apologize for not responding so as I want to. My heart wants it, and I have to take care of myself, and I have to take a lot more time in deprogramming at this moment, and it is the way it is. Hello, Eric. Welcome. So that is a long hey and good. Yeah, great. Hello, Eric. This all mirror. Nice that you joined on this Tuesday evening. A lot happening in the world and so on. Well, I wanted to talk as well about, but first take a sip of tea. I also want to talk about this switching of personalities. Like sometimes I also get private messages or a question like, how did nobody notice that you switched personalities? And I like to. Oh, short break is still on. Oh, thanks so much, Yvonne. Thank you so much for warning me. Well, it's all managing on two screens, on two monitors. Thanks so much, Yvonne. Cheers, everyone. And I also forgot to look at Rumble. If are people on Rumble who like to write something in the chat, see four watching. One of them is me, I guess. Hello on Rumble. Welcome as well. Hello, Jos and Clowns Planet. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome here. Oh boy. So, I'm going to talk about all that switching of personalities. How did people not notice? I say often, like, it's not visible, but that's not totally accurate. There is a difference in me having been living the front life and me having lived the deep state life or the shadow life. And so the shadow life, I mean the MK Ultra and Monarch programming. At times, the switching of personalities was even noticeable, but not in the front life, and that has a reason. The front life, of which I called myself, the majority of my front life, I called myself the name Monique, because that was in that front life also my name. So everyone was calling me Monique. And as I said before the break, at times also they called me in the most horrific versions of Monique or other hurtful names, because I walked a bit weird and so on. And I did talk about that already earlier in live streams, how I was ridiculed. And that was a sad time for me to live in the front life as a child. Luckily, I did grow up and become stronger in the front life. So for the family around me in that front life, they all saw me grown up from little to older, like Monique. There's another reason why it was not visible, because I was only present on, for example, birthday parties, and then I was doing a front part of me, which could very easily play the laughing, the very heartwarming, the hostess, like a kind of hostess. I was always pleasing everyone. I still recall how I was helping the front mom and the front dad with helping preparing the birthday party, and there was then a giant table, and it went through the whole living room, and and I was even preparing some nice toasts and snacks, all the stuff. And then there was actually I could have been the perfect hostess or the perfect stewardess. We were not on a plane, but I always wanted to do the safety guideline over there. Like a stewardess. I'm not kidding, because I had an inner personality who was also a stewardess. Yeah. And she was not as professional a stewardess, but she was a stewardess in a personality. And she gave safety guidelines and so on to inner personalities, but that's a whole other story. So when family met me, then they only met the same front personality. For example, when I was with a front dad in the sexual part, that I had to act as his wife. And already when I was very little, I had to act and perform for him as his wife. And then I was very sexual. Yeah, I'm honest in that, openly about that was my programming. I'm not proud of it. It is how it was, and I was educated, as the programmers called it, yeah, to be escort, and I think that's the most neat way to, yeah. You have other words for it, but I cannot even pronounce them. So I call then escort girl, and the dad found me his woman, and then I had to act older than I was. So, for example, already you played the geisha at home. That's really well expressed, Delvertje. That's a great explanation as well. Ah, thanks for the compliment, Jos. Well, the majority of times I can that resonates in me, and I'm very grateful for that it's the case. I feel very good, yeah. Despite another part discovered, Lisa, uh, I still have more to dig up in my personality systems. I talked about it in before the break. To come back to with the dad. So that was so. Then I was, for example, can you imagine? I was a 6-year-old child. Then when I was alone with the dad, with the front dad, that was also different. When I was alone with the front dad, the majority of times I threw off my clothings immediately. That was just an automatic behavior. If I knew that the front mom was near or in the house, it depended on if I would throw off my clothes. But with the dad alone, immediately threw off my clothing. And I was, can you imagine, for example, 7 years old. Then I immediately became almost grown up in my behavior. And that sounds maybe weird, but I could act as a grown up when I was 7 years old. It was all, of course, educated with how I should behave, but it was also my survivor method to overcome all the sexual abuse. And the majority of time when I had thrown off my clothes, then the majority of time I had to lie in the master bedroom and then on the spot of the mom. And then I had to lie always in a spoon position. So with my face to the left and in a spoon position, a fetus position. Always. It was always the same. And then he would lie behind me and then would do all sorts kind of things with me. And when with the mom and the dad, then there was another personality. And yeah, you heard it well. I was forced to have being abused, sexually abused, with also the mom, and that's very sad. And it harmed me in this way that in my front life, I was even sometimes scared. I was not only falling for men but also for women, while I felt that I was hetero. And it doesn't matter to me what you are. Really, I mean that, because if you're righteous person, good person, from within, with a kind-hearted heart, doesn't matter who you are, what you are. It's about the inside, and that is for me very important. And I've met, by the way, a lot of people in the gay scene, in the gay scene, what is what they called it in my time. And these people were also a lot harmed and hurt because of who they were from within and felt like who they were. So I will always, in that way, I want to express that as well. But for me, being hetero, is that the right expression? That was for me confusing when I was a teenager. And fortunately, I did learn to discover, like, no, I am really liking boys and men. Also in my front life, I was in love, and that was always with boys and later on, of course, young men and so on. But I started to, in the front life as well, create a personality who stayed away from all boys everyone. And then I had that phase of that I doubted myself. And that was what has been done to me, and that is still a hurt deep in me. Um, yeah, I can also see it like that, like, well, it's an experience, I know how it felt, but as a small child and such a young age already being, um, yeah, used and sexually abused by both, that is horrific. But and that was, and I'm talking only about the front life, but I was in another personality. So the family, like on that birthday example, they didn't see me in that personality who was then with the dad, and the personality was with the mom and the dad. That's totally over sexual active girl. Um, yeah, and of course, when I was taught already at such an age to teach myself to be grown up, well, there are grooming videos. There came out more grooming videos, and this is why I don't like all these pageants for young girls. I'm very honest. I don't like it, specifically the very young aged girls. I think it's not healthy. But that is, I am of course being hurt in this way to act like more older than I was, and I don't think it's part of how a child should grow up. But it's just me having had this life. Maybe if I had a normal, balanced way and personality, that I would not be so burdened by it. But I feel it's growing in an alarming rate that these children are being groomed, and a lot of them, by the way, are being picked out by scouts who specifically join there. Suppose that these pageants for very tiny little children are very pure and good, which I do understand. Majority are coming from a good heart and so on. But suppose it is their scout trying to find out, we can take that girl, the little boy. Maybe we can use her in the programming. And that is how then a first step is being taken to enter in the world of the child. And this is also part why I'm against it. I was, to come back to that story, I was as well being used in this way because I had already that, of course, that monarch programming, because the monarch programming has got nothing to do with the origin of that might be from a monarchy bloodline or whatever. No, it's the monarch programming is specifically about being sexually abused and being used as escort and being put with handlers and to being raped. That's actually the monarch programming. But that I recall when I was very little, that I was there on certain, what should have been a nice television show. You had, for example, Stuivers In. The people in the Netherlands maybe know that. And then you could win medals, etc. You could win. Children could show their art, and it was really the basics of the program was totally fine, but it is about that the people behind it, some people behind it, used that as trafficking, used that as using me. And I was in also in some other shows, even in Belgium, also in Belgium original. Well, I will not mention too much about that, but it was horrific to me, because when I, for example, in the front life, in my worldly life, like the pleaser, like the one who was a perfect hostess, the perfect little girl, very shy, but I was perfect. I tried to act as perfect, and too perfect is an alarm sign, can be alarm sign too perfect and too shy. And if, for example, a girl or a boy is behaving in a certain person withdrawn, and you can see it in behavior. If a person is too withdrawn with the same person all the time, that's also one of the alarm signs that there is something wrong in the relationship. And I'm not saying it's sexual abuse, but there is something going on which you can maybe investigate in a safe way. and to not, of course, put guilt on someone, but you know what I mean. And this hurt me as well. But this perfect front life personality, who watched then the television program of, for example, Stuivers in, and then I heard that intro song, and then immediately that switched into that personality who was there. Yeah, and I cannot express how for me it was then so mixed, because the front personality who was doing the front life, the perfect little girl life, and when there was someone with me, for example, some of my siblings or a friend who came by, which I hardly had, but apparently sometimes that did happen, and then I was watching in front of the television, and then I had to act that perfect child which enjoyed the television program. And a part of the television program was that song of that some of the children then won a kind of medal of honor, that you won, that you had the nicest performance. For example, a boy did do a kind of a magic show trick, and he won that show. And then there was a certain song being played, like da 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 da. The people who knew that programming know exactly how that song went, and that it went that way. And then and then from within, that personality who was hurt then was crying out loud, like somehow that personality then leaked through. But the front personality, who was that perfect child, then was in total panic, like totally freaked out. No, no. So she was pushing that other personality back. And what happened then was that it went back deeper and deeper. So this is why a lot of systems in me, personality systems, got so deep and deeper and deeper, because the front personality got totally freaked out by, no, I don't want to feel. And that got even more and more and more and more and more. So then the older I got, when I became a teenager, and all these personalities, then maybe you can imagine why there are many personalities even gotten more deeper and deeper in the personality systems. And that the front personality and had a hard time to deal with it, but also created a thick wall, a thicker wall than ever, more than ever, to that I would ever be capable of deprogramming. And that thicker wall, when that would become thicker and thicker, and this is why many MK Ultras or Monarch programmed ones, the older they get, the more difficult it becomes to deprogram. And often it creates physical ailments, like the heart. The heart has a hard time dealing with it. And I myself sometimes also feel a too strong heartbeat, but I know how to deal with it, because that's my experience, of course. I have to check a bit. And this is only a few examples of personalities, and why, for example, some personality systems never was being detected by other people, because if there is constantly the same personality coming forward with the same people, or one person, then no one will ever notice it. You see how practical and handy it is to create a personality system. Therefore, it was also for the programmers very handy, because they could steer personality systems together with that wall to even create a bigger gap in between the front and my deep state and my monarch programming, and so on. And that even some personalities in me became inner spies. And I talked about a while about needles, that some of the needle personalities were like spies, and that they were then listening in to my front personalities. Like, is the front personality behaving according to what we want? Is she not giving away some secrets that there is that we are existing from within? So I created personalities who blackmailed me as well. And that blackmail was specifically happening when I had to deal with my eating disorders between 2011 to, specifically 2015, but 2017. Then I could say that I was on my healing journey from the eating disorders, and I still am suffering from the remains of the eating disorder. So I still have to be strong at times to not want to not eat. For example, I had recent a birthday, and then I really have to enjoy the cake. And there is still a kind of behavior of not wanting to eat the whole cake. And so there is such a great diversity of personality systems, but these blackmail, these inner spies and blackmail personalities, they were tough to help integrate, as you can imagine. So that is then me, but they think that I am a different personality, literally different one, and they saw me as Monique, for example, as a threat, literally as a threat. And that is why they kept away also the eating disorders from me as ego, because they hoped in this way then to keep up that incredible wall of non-feeling, and that wall would never be breached or broken down to the deeper leveled systems. And this is why it was such tough and hard work to get to these deeper systems, because I had to go through years of all these extreme eating disorders next to the flashbacks and so on. And I will scroll a bit through the chat. So I see something come by about the cooking and the mora. I still remember the what's called croquette in English. No, it's not called croquettes, I'm sure, but well, it's a snack. It's a snack with grinded meat and so on, and a kind of goulash way, and with a crispy layer. But I forgot how it's called in English. So there's a lot going on about food. Martin Brosius, yeah. Oh, Martin Brosius, that was from another show. Yeah, indeed, that name, Delvertje. My Facebook is buffering. All right, thanks for mentioning it, Jos. I will go to that. I will go to Facebook. Yeah, when I try to do both YouTubes or with Rumble causes a lot of. Is it on my personal? Because I'm not sure where I am live, but I will check. I will be back, dear people. One moment. Croquette. Yeah, but it's called in English as well, croquette. It sounds English as well. I don't see myself live on my personal page. Maybe it's somewhere else. Let me check. No. I love to hear from someone if I'm live on Facebook. I should be live on Facebook. This is why I don't. I always see now one one person. Now it's okay. All right. Oh, now I'm live. I see that too. Okay, well now. If I'm live on Facebook. Echo, echo. Live on Facebook. Oops. Echo, echo. Hello, Christina, Miriam. I'm not sure if you're still here, but I see your comment. So it has not in my on screen, unfortunately, but I do see your question now. So I will answer that. I'm not sure if you're there, but maybe if you rewatch, then you can hear the answer. Are some people more sensitive for mind control than others, and how come? Good question. Beautiful question. Well, if I can say beautiful question, yes, some people are more sensitive for mind control, specifically the born in certain families, because they got already from parenthood and from generations that they carry this programming. Besides that, it is also if there is sexual abuse happened in generations or in the parents, that the parents sexual abuse, that is a very that is the mostly used one, but also other abuse stuff. And how come? Yeah, like I origin from two bloodlines, and then it's also more yeah, looked after. The programmers like to program people who have come from certain lineages and bloodline lineages and genes. So that's maybe an answer to it. It's I can go more extendedly into it, but this is what I for now can answer, because it's a pretty long answer otherwise. But thanks for the question, Christina. Not sure if you're still there, but Yvonne, yes, you are live on Facebook. I just checked it. Yes, I am live there. And I see Jos also say, now it's okay. So, a like and a like. So, multitasking. I am multitasking. Yeah, so this is another with why my personality switches were not being seen. Well, there were moments that people did see, like I talk about leakages of personalities. That does happen, but then still, yeah, I mean, everyone has, for example, at times that suddenly the behavior changes. So that is not so, I think, not so extraordinary. It would have been extraordinary if I would suddenly throw off my clothes. That never happened because my personality build is so strongly built and designed and kept up by design. See it as that my programmers took care of in my personality grid design to have such strong pillar personalities, and then I come with the splits, so the core splits. Core splits are major in how MK Ultra or Monarch can be programmed and how solid that programming will be. Specifically the programming to keep the hidden black ops, because I had a big military part of which I'm now again being confronted with how extended my military part was. Actually, that is my male part. You have female part and male part, which is often used separately in the programming. So often a while, also in me, some leakages happened. For example, these leakages happened when I talk often about that I came across a young man when I was young, and I met someone. We became incredible dear friends, and then also became lovers. And yeah, he was trying to help me escape, and he was trying to help me deprogramming. And at least 3 times he tried to help me escape, which did not work out. It even was gotten worse. I had the most horrific reprogramming with the tortures and so on. And then in 2006, that we both heard by a physician who said literally like you cannot continue with the deprogramming. From then the part who knew him, so the personality system, the deeper personality systems, and that physician advised you have to stop because otherwise her heart would not make it. Because I had in front of this dear man, I had what appeared to be heart attacks. And yeah, I mean, if you see only one in front of you get a heart attack, that's already very traumatic. And also for the people who witness it. And I witnessed it myself also with someone dear. So I know how it feels like. And he had that at least 2-3 times. So yeah, I had to call ambulance, all these horrific things. So, but those were connected to leakages because love is a strong deprogrammer, is the best deprogrammer, by the way. And I mean the deprogrammer method. Love and being believed, and that someone is near you, also physically, and never leaves you. That is one of these few strong things. And what I can say about him is that he never let go. He always caught me again. He always took care of me when I collapsed. And those were, I have therefore with him also the most of the leakages. But it was not always in my advantage. As I said, that I got the symptoms of heart attacks. Well, in the hospitals, they did find out it were heart attacks. But I talk a lot about how the programmers at the programmed world can also create inside of MK Ultras and monarchs to create that heart attacks, which feels like heart attacks. And I was being trained, here you go again, trained, educated. But you can read being tortured with the device, now I forgot it, a pacemaker. I sometimes say, yeah, I can, I joke a lot because that is because of the hardmanship I had to endure. And as well with the deprogramming, that also here with my dear friend here, I use a lot of times joking, and that I sometimes say like, yeah, that was my companion, that device. You see now my mind tries to forget it. It's the most horrific thing to have such a device where you don't need it and it goes off. It is, and you have also these devices outside of your body. And that was horrific. Klaus Planet, well, have a great dinner. Enjoy. Defibrillator. Yeah, that too, but it's pacemaker. You have these outside, defibrillator as well. I always stumble on that word, but I also mean defibrillator, but also pacemaker. And you have pacemakers outside. The medical world uses that sometimes as a measure in hospital and so on. But that is an example of leakages. Another time when a leakage happened in the personality was that, with an example in the hospital, and that a nurse entered from the programmed world, and that she gave me coding, and that she then called up a personality in me who then who took out the IV, and then I walked out of the hospital, and then I sat on a bench, and then outside in a little park, and then I was sitting like that. I still know how I sat like a zombie and a bit looking. So in that way, some people who might have crossed me would have looked at me like, what is she doing? She's sitting there straight and looking like this. And I still remember that I was sitting like frozen on that bench, and then a bit looking sideways and so on. So, but this is an example of that you can possibly see a change. Another thing what you can see that someone can possibly be MK Ultra. It could be. I'm not saying it is. I see it sometimes in talk hosts that they have a kind of suddenly that they change, or in the break. There is a good example to find on YouTube, by the way. I hope to, but I don't want to really call out names and call out people, so maybe that's not the best idea. But that I saw that man sitting straight and staring. Only staring, so he was in the freeze mode. And there is a certain lady, maybe I will not mention her name, but her name starts with an H. And that it was worldwide going around that she was in a stiffened posture entering the car. And my feeling is that she was in a kind of frozen pose, and that it even could have been a substitute for this person, and that was a mind-controlled one, and that she was put in that posture, in that frozen posture. And many of them are Snow Whites or based on Cinderella. Cinderella sleeps for a long time, for 100 years. But maybe I mix up fairy tales. I do mix them up sometimes, Cinderella and Snow White. And Snow White bit that apple. That's interesting. I mix up these fairy tales, and those things happens when I confuse fairy tales, because that is because of the confusion of these fairy tales having been used in my programming. So that still happens sometimes, and I'm now already talking for a while, of course. So I'm also starting to feel how long I talked. So maybe there are people who like to ask me something. If there are questions, put it in the chat, as well as everyone also on Trovo, also welcome. And what I see is doing some, I never can concentrate on what happens there, but arena battles and so on. But everyone who joins me there, thank you so much, or joined it, thank you. And wait, I am not even looking on Twitch, I notice. So, are there more questions maybe in the front live, the switching of the front live? Because there are so many examples of how many variations there are of switching. The deprogramming, that's also what I wanted to touch upon, how it was in the deprogramming with the switching. Maybe I wanted to talk about that as well. Delvertje, biting an apple is quite biblical. Yeah, it's quite biblical. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and the whole Eve thing. There was a movie once produced. I loved that movie. It was a lengthy movie for sure for the people now with the concentration, because the concentration curve has been less and less by generation after generation. That has also a purpose. That's also mind control. To less concentrate. This is why I am so mixed, in my opinion, with emotes. I use more emotes than ever, but in the beginning, when I was, for example, on Twitter doing my posts now and then I totally refused doing any emotes, because emotes is also a part of the tricks of the mind control, that we learn to react and respond with only emotes. So the shortcut, the short way, and I'm not really pro shortcut, But yeah, that is again that complexity. And but in the what was I wanted to say, in the deprogramming, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I will let go. I will take a sip, and will continue. In the deprogramming, actually, the leakages in the personalities started to become more obvious than in the programming. And of when it happened in the programming, then it was leakages from personalities from within. uh, I'm not really proud of it, but the leakages which did happen in the front life were when I was, for example, in a small holiday with some people I met in, I did a music therapy education. I did a school for that education when I was what older. And there I went with a camping trip, and then suddenly a personality came forward who was the escort, the monarch. So I dived on one of the male party people. I'm not proud of it. Not proud of it at all, but yeah, it could be a funny movie as well. And I did nothing wrong, because that young man loved it. Because there is also an advantage. I have all the education you need. I'm now a bit sarcastic, but it is the truth as well. I am so educated and so trained. I'm so, yeah. When that happens, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I'm not proud of it. But to come back on the deprogramming, when that happened, if, especially in the beginning, that I had to phone now and then when I still went outside in the beginning, and I did not know that it was MK Ultra, but I did know that I had more split up personalities, and that I suddenly had to call my dear friend here, like, I feel estranged here, and I was sitting in a shopping center, and I still know the place, somewhere in the Netherlands, and I still know what I wore, but I was so confused, and I felt estranged from my body. And that was the awful thing about deprogramming, that being estranged in the first years of deprogramming, of which I even did not know I was MK Ultra at that time, but that was like lightheadedness, and with lightheadedness, but that then went together with the feeling of I'm losing grip. I am now going out of my body. So it's a going out of the body experience, but in a bad way. And that causes then anxiety attacks. But not really knowing who I was in that first years of the deprogramming, that was the most scary thing. But fortunately, I did know that that I called myself Monique or Tara. That was around the time that I called myself Tara overall. But it was very panicky, and I freaked out innerly, and fortunately not physically. So in these leakages which happened in my deprogramming, I cannot recall any leakages of personalities who came through that I lost contact with myself. So that is the advantage of that I was already apparently being prepared, and as well by this beautiful, loving man in the USA, who I will be forever grateful what he did, and still does, in my opinion. That is forever. That is. I believe in life after this, and that we're a soul inside a body, and that we live, that we continue to live. And he will be forever with me and forever dear. So that's a story on its own, how love works in mysterious way and is guiding towards healing and deprogramming. And that is still the case also in the here and now for me. Love is the answer. And next to love is the answer is say no to evil when you experience love. When you know that love is the answer. It's both. So it's not for me. For me, is, by the way, that's part of why I say no to evil is so important to me. Because for me, it's not like sitting on a yoga mat and singing Om all the time and then sending peace and love. That's not my way of my mission. But for someone else, it could be, and that's totally fine. It's no judgment for me, but for me, it's about also the action in the physical body to express no. No to evil. No. Just no. Say no to evil. Yeah, but yeah. Sputniki sounds very romantic. Yeah, in a way, yeah, it is like a novel, but it is not one, two, three, four, five, six novels. No, I believe it is a novel series of yeah, maybe 30 books at least. I truly feel that, like, if I would have to make a movie about my life, then it would be for sure at least three movies. But this storyline of love, it's on its own beautiful, I think. But yeah, it's the world is not yet ready to maybe even believe it, and yeah, that is what I also bumped into it today. Uh, yeah, of course, every personality, new personality which comes forward, and I always feel the fear of am I being believed or not. Yeah, and it is, yeah, maybe one day this will be revealed who this man is, and that's not on me. That can never be me who does that, you know. And I honor too much this person and this family too much forever. It feels like I'm forever in my debt, you know, what he gave me, what he guided me towards freedom, and I will always feel that, and I will always love him for that. Yeah, that is a beautiful, could be a beautiful storyline, but yeah, it's not in the movie yet. I've not seen it yet, so maybe one day. Well, I have a bit of ego as well to honor that, to feed that as well. Jos is back. All right. If there are more questions, it's now 10 in the evening here in the Netherlands. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? And are you here the first time, or did you already watch some live streams? And again, coming Saturday, Dana Durnford will be there. So the anti-nuclear firebrand and activist will join me for a third talk about nuclear energy and how he sees it as a total threat to humanity worldwide, and then it's still having its impact. And specifically, he will then talk about Fukushima in Japan and about the fallout, what it is exactly, why he believes it's still circulating around the earth, and so on. And looking forward, Sputniki. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I feel so honored really that he said yes, and he already said in the second live stream I will come back. So yeah, it is nice. So for everyone who likes to join, 7:30, and for sure from 7:30 to 10:30, and again we will do a pretty long Q&A. So if you have an interesting good question for Dana, and he said it himself. Tough questions are welcome, and he will be, of course, here then to answer as well. Such a nice person, yeah, he's kind-hearted, and he is really inspired for. I recognize that in him. Whatever you find of his conclusions and his research, he has such a passion for freedom and for the health of children worldwide, for everyone. He also wants to have that the world is free and healthy of living, that the living conditions of the people yeah, are for everyone in balance, as they should be. Every child should be living in harmony and in joy and play, and yeah, that's my dream as well. Oh, thank you so much, Tineke Jessie. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Are there more questions? I love to answer them as well. If in my front personality and the deprogramming, of course, why did no one ever saw me change? And I'm not talking about shapeshifting. I'm talking about changing appearance. Yeah. But what I wanted to talk about did people notice me change? Well, what I noticed in change is, for example, that I did a study, and I then talk about again about that music therapy, and that for example that during that music therapy, that certain friends I had from one day, had dear friends, and I did everything with them, had fun with them. And then suddenly, from one day to the other, it changed. They ignored me. And now I realize by what happened in that holiday home that then these people could have thought, like, what does Monique do? She's shy, she's integer, and suddenly there is that little tiger who then comes forward and jumps on a man. Maybe they were shocked by it. That's possible. But yeah. Hello into listening in. Hi all. Hello. Welcome into on YouTube. You mean listening in? You were already there or you're now listening in? Well, welcome everyone. Yeah, we're heading towards, of course, the I almost wanted to say the holy grail of time, 10:30. Yeah, my wish is still that when I do the English live stream, to start later in the evening, and then also stop later in the evening. But it will come in the near future. That does not mean that Europe will not continue their business. I forgot what that was a connection to. But maybe you responded to someone, Jos. That could be as well, of course. Ah, you just arrived. Hello. Nah, so nice of you to greet into the chat. Tineke Jessie. David Sorensen is looking for helpers for the flyers. Oh, yeah. For helpers for the flyers. Sputniki, there is so much misinformation this time. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah, he is, huh? Child trafficking and so on. There are a lot of brave people. My passion, my mission is I will not get away from that mission, that vision. That it's just a dream. By saying no to evil, and that mass of people will join forces all together. Accidentally, coincidentally. Just it happens coincidentally. And it's individual choice, of course. Not calling up for something. Delvertje, walk out and say no. I'm not saying yes or no. It could be. I know it sounds awful that I have to say that, you know. And then for the people abroad, like maybe you look at the Netherlands like everything you can say, everything you can. It's a free country, and compared to other countries, it is, but it is not. And for me, as MK Ultra, it's already never have been free, because Netherlands is a giant center of it, of the deep state, and of leading into this deep hole. Well, the attempt, of course. So it is, and all these laws that they are. And that's what I wanted to say again. Like, this is my tiredness, and I must say also frustration. Like, I cannot even watch at certain things which happen now here, there, and then it happens there, like people who stand up or say their thing. That's why I feel, no, I have one mission, I have one dream, this. This accidentally, coincidentally, individually all say no to evil and stand up, but it's all individual. Not calling up for something, and I'm not a violent person at all, so peacefully. But that it accidentally is happening then all together. Well, that I could be wrong, but I wanted to say to the people abroad, it is already weird that I feel all the time like, oh, I have to secure myself in what I say. It's not a nice feeling, and it's not a nice feeling. But yeah, I repeat myself. I say it already. I said it already often. I posted earlier that the Grand Reset is cancelled through the BRICS country. Yeah. Yeah, Tineke Jessie. And now all together, no. If we now put all in the chat at once, no. What would happen then? Oh, I should stop with repeating that. It's not. That's why I choose for tonight specifically talking about my deprogramming and these front and the switches of the personalities. That is yeah, a very smooth transition from personality to personality. How it went, but exceptions were there. And every MK Ultra, every mind control, every monarch has that certain what I call leakages, leakages in the personality systems. And if there is, by the way, an MK Ultra or a monarch who is, for example, only being programmed to be sexual active, then these leakages happen often earlier and far, because the steadiness of the programmed and the steadiness of the system is then less solid. And that's part of how the personality and the grid is being built. Because I had Monarch programming, I had Black Ops programming, included that Super Soldier programming and the space programming. So, yeah. And the Black Widow programming, which is horrific programming, and the ritualistic programming. And I know it's a lot, but I had so many, also diversity in my programming. And I'm not the only one, there are more MK Ultras. But for me, yeah, it is of course a lot to deal with. And this is why I'm still doing this deprogramming, and I'm still sitting here in this just very modest residence for years now, sitting the majority here in the house with a few physical people around me, but a lot of love. So I have to say that a lot of love. So I feel really blessed and privileged that I have this. Tineke Jessie, yes, we need t-shirts and window stickers for saying no. What would it be? Tineke Jessie, do you have invite Melky? Melky? Do you have an invite for Melky? No, I don't know what you mean with that, but no, I haven't. If it is the Melky, I seem to think who is, but I'm not so in the music world any longer. If it is, it is an artist, isn't it? I feel a bit. Oh, for a life, yeah. Mel K. Ah, yeah. Now I know what you mean. Yeah, for a life. Yeah, I asked somebody else on did not respond. Well, two other persons I reached out to become a guest. Well, that happens, and they're busy people. I have people on my list who have a lot of people fans, so they don't have a easy time to. So I'm very honored and very happy with Dana coming Saturday. And of course, for everyone, it would be great if you like, comment, a liking of specifically also on YouTube, for example, Rumble. It really helps. It helps getting YouTube, my channel, more visible. So this is, I know now why all these YouTubers and these channel owners and streamers ask every time for it, but I only do it once. I hope I only do it once in every broadcast. But yeah, Tinka Jessie, she know a lot of things. Yeah, she does. And many people, and there are many who also have the past like I had, MK Ultra, and so on. Wow. Yeah. Whoa, it's already 12 past 10. Whoa. I am so relieved that I could do this live stream. Because the people who were there from the start of this live stream, yeah, you remember how I started. Like, I'm not even sure if I can do a whole live stream. And today again, I said to my dear friend here, but there comes a time that I don't have a subject to talk about. So what will I do then? And I'm very open to you all about it. If I really have no subject left, then I'm still hooked to live streaming. So we will find a way then, to get to to a certain formula. But yeah, I also have that mission and that dream. So I'm not sure how that then all will develop. But Yvonne, thanks. Yeah, of course. Do you all see that react button underneath the player on Twitch? You can react, and that also creates a way for me in the analytics to see then if you liked it, that part of the live stream, or yeah, it again helps to get me higher up on visibility on the platforms, and I'm streaming now on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 at the same time. Tineke Jesse David is, yeah, yeah, yeah. I invited him for the third time. Stick. Yeah, I'm too little. I'm too little as channel, and that's what I think. But I invited him. But yeah, it is. I also am a very strong believer, and with the energetic work, like if it doesn't fit, if it's not meant to be, then it will not happen. But I did do the effort, so and that's what counts. But I would love to do an interview with him, and I'm not saying that I am, um, that I am, how you say that? It's not that I think exactly like him. No, I think it could be a nice interview because I came from that past. So I would love to talk about Satanism and about rituals and about these things. I would love to talk about that because I come from that world. So I would, yeah, it would be great to me to have him as guest. Yeah, there are also others I at least want to have as guest, but let's see. I will not mention their names if they will answer or not. And again, it is about if it fits or not in my life's path. Maybe it's not meant to be. Delveltje Max wears my buttons sometimes. Ah, that's so sweet. That's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, dus I will check if I have someone nice to raid. And I'm very grateful that I could do my talk tonight, because I was feeling a bit down today, a bit pretty. I felt pretty bad again. It's lately tough with the deprogramming. But yeah. Sputniki, when you started, your voice sounded very tired, but sounds better now. Yeah, thanks to you, huh? Thanks to you. Thanks to you, dear people. Really thanks to you. Yeah, I'm very grateful. So, and this is why I also decided, well, maybe there will be, 1 week that I say, nah, I will not go live. But this holiday, and there's a lot happening in the world, in the Netherlands maybe as well, that I have to maybe skip a week or not. It depends. But initially, I will continue doing the live streams twice a week. And let's see. Yeah, he wears a lot of buttons and pins, and every day online. Yeah, he's on a lot of locations. I know. Yeah, he works also hard to get the message out. Like many people, each on their own unique way as well. And they're all great people, Also do the live streams, go live and talk about. Um, yeah, there are many live streamers, many channels. And yeah, it's my dream, my vision that will all happen all at once, accidentally, coincidentally. Would you like something all to do something with crafting? I could do a poll about crafting channel or music channel that you can ask requests. Both very sweet people, by the way, to rate. Say no to people following government orders. Even the music. I thought so. You love music. I'm thinking of, I have two in mind. So I think I will then choose one. Yeah, you also have a great evening. Say yes to Monique Sunshine. You say yes to goodness. Yeah. Yeah, I will go to. There are such sweet people like Liz Gay. And Liz Gay, yeah, that's just sweet. And you can do a request. And I guess I will then also jump off very quickly. That's a bit why I feel it's a pity that yeah. But here we go. Something is going wrong again. Yeah, thank you so much, Chineke Jessie. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I mean, I feel blessed. I feel grateful that you are here. And in my English speaking live stream, and also so many people from the Netherlands as well. And I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, oh yes, I will for sure rest and we'll keep you updated about this whole thing with Lisa and my inner library and so on. And here it goes, and I really do nothing wrong. It is really something in my Twitch. Yes, and dear people, go along with me to Liz KTV. They're great. They're very loving people. And otherwise, see you next time. Hope to see you Saturday with Dana. Yeah, everyone. Bye bye. Or come along to Liz K. All right, do it. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.